cutting off his head. So we'll be back the other way.
It doesn't work like that. You won't be able to record when it's like that.
So then let's tilt it. Yeah. Sorry, I got no way of your thinking. Oh, we need that. We need to unscrew this. Good.
Greetings, Heidman Elementary School. I'm Coach Willie. I'd like a hello, Coach Willie.
Hey, Coach Willie.
I'm going to introduce or bring up Coach John. So everyone, this is Coach John. Everyone say hi to Coach John. Coach John is the coach of the, I'm used to talking without a mic, so I can step around. Coach John is the coach of the upper level class, which is the 4th and the 5th graders. So he's the one making sure that the public speaking skills are getting, I guess, implemented or infused into the younger age group. We have Coach Althea, who is the coach for the younger group, which is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade class. She couldn't make it here today, but just for fun, let's just say hi, Coach Althea.
Hi, Coach Althea.
All right. So speech and debate is an activity where we use public speaking to convey ideas and to relay messages and really create change in the world. We have just finished Black History Month, and we have to acknowledge someone like Martin Luther King Jr., who was instrumental in the civil rights movement, and he used public speaking to create change. We want you all to also share that tradition and create change through public speaking. So that's why we started our speech and debate team here at Heidman. We could not have started the speech and debate team without the support of Modern Brain Academy and John Llewellyn. So right now, everyone say thank you to Coach John Llewellyn. All right, here's the fun part. Coach John Llewellyn has been involved in speech and debate for 28 years. Yes, longer than I have been alive. I would like John to come up and please share his experience with speech and debate and talk about why he thinks speech and debate is so important.
Hi everyone. I'm Coach John. This is my cool new hoodie. All right, so I'll tell you a little bit about speech and debate and why I like it so much and why I think it's really great for you guys. Professor Willie Washington here, I think did a really good job of introducing it and talking about how it can really help you to create some change in your life. And one of the things that you can do, if you have the power to persuade people or to make people interested in what you have to say, they'll go along with you, they'll join with you in the things that you want to do, and you can help to create change in the world. Now, I wasn't always someone who could speak in front of a crowd, but eventually, when I learned that skill, it really took me places. And when I was older and I was in college, I got to be in Washington, D.C., and I even got to work at the Department of Justice. And I don't know if you guys know what the Department of Justice is, but it's like our top law enforcement group inside the United States. And I worked in something called money laundering. So anytime any bad guys were sending billions of dollars across the world, I could reach into their computers and turn off the money flow. That was kind of the group that I worked with. And it was really cool and interesting. I got to work next to people who were like the Secret Service and White House and the FBI, and a lot of it was because of my speech and debate ability. In fact, so many of those guys at that top level, you think all of those adults in those important positions, they know how to speak. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they actually don't. I was known as the speech guy there. So all those nervous people from the FBI or White House, they came to me and they asked me for help just because I knew a little bit about speech and debate. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I'm here in Tustin. What can I do, right? What can I do? I'm really young. What can I do with my speech and debate skills? Now, here's the thing. Does anyone in here like to cook at all?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I like to cook. I'm super bad. Don't taste my cooking. It's not good. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm glad you raised your hand. I worked with a student here in Tustin, right? And she was beginning high school, and she was really interested in baking, right? And so she wanted to find a way to make some money with that. And so even as a high school student, she took her speech and debate skill. She went to a conference that was designed for only adults. And she said, can I go to this conference? Can I talk to these people who are looking to give money to famous chefs and other people to start restaurants? And I said, sure, go there. She said, but I'm just this girl. I'm young. No one's going to respect me. And you know what I told her? I told her that every one of those people who you think is so powerful are going to be super impressed that you know how to speak. And as a result, when she went there and she knew how to speak and tell her story, she walked away from that conference with a mentor, with a job, and with a home-based business, right? So this person was actually able to create a business because of her speech skills, even as a high school student. And we've even had students around here who wanted to get active in politics, and when they did, they ended up writing speeches for local politicians. Because I know you guys all think those politicians know how to speak, but they don't. You guys are, I bet you're already better than your parents. You're already better than some of those politicians. If you listen to your great coaches, then you guys are going to have a really bright future. And, you know, some of the speeches can also be entertaining. So don't be afraid to jump into those acting events and do things like, you know, HI or DI, anything humorous. It's a really great time. So that's my experience. I've been doing it since like 1989 or something like that in, you know, Model UN and speech and debate, and I've really loved it. And I'd love for all of you to be at our tournaments when we do like the Cal League and everything. We'd love to see every single one of you. Don't be afraid. Come do the novice tournament. Everyone is friendly. We all help each other. You make friends. It's great. So I'd love to see you there, okay?
So we do have the team here, and I think it's important that we recognize each of the team members. We're going to have Coach John. Coach John's going to recognize each of the team members. We're going to have them all come out here.
All right, and first up is Alonzo Zamaripa.
The ones who stand in front of the podium. So just watch the front.
We have Christian Silva. Now is Jana Ahmed. Now is Valerie Govia. Giselle Jimenez. Jacob Tacawo. Isabella Ruiz. Viola Cruz. Brandon Magana. Nancy Pacheco. Nathan Martinez. Aisha Luna. Leslie Manzo. And Nathan Galisto. And that is the first through third grade class. Now the fourth and fifth graders. And first up we have Emmanuel Orozco. Janet Camacho. Anna Gabriel. Angel Bahena. Firdaus Ahmed. Leilani Meza. Benjamin Ruiz. Lizette Sandoval. Christian Martin Del Campo. Natalie Jimenez. Lisbeth Castro. Jose Diaz.
working on 5 habits. We call them 5 habits of a competent communicator. They're basically the 5 skills that we want to master, and we want to do something. We want to do habits without thinking about it. We want to internalize these habits so that every time we speak, we do these things without even thinking about them. Our first habit is
Projection.
All right, they said our first habit is projection, and I don't know what that means. Can you tell me, what does projection mean?
Speaking loudly and not yelling.
Yeah, so every time we speak, we want to make sure we're speaking loudly, right? So everyone in the room can hear us, but we're not yelling. Our second habit is?
Eye contact.
All right, what's eye contact?
Looking at the audience, not the floor or ceiling.
Yes, that's when we speak, we want to make sure we're always looking at the audience. We're not looking at the floor. We're not talking to the ceiling. We look at our audience. And then we have a third habit. What is our third habit?
Body control.
What is body control?
Planting our feet and our clothes.
Yes, so every time we're speaking, we plant our feet. We're not pacing, moving around back and forth. We're not wiggling. We're not playing with our clothes. We have good body control. We have a fourth habit, which is?
Clarity.
What is clarity?
Speaking clearly and not mumbling.
Yes, when we speak clearly, we enunciate and sound out each word, and we make sure that we do not mumble, right? That's clarity. And then we have a fifth habit that's very important.
Listening.
What is our fifth habit?
Listening.
All right, and so you may think, wow, as a public speaker, you need to be a good listener. Yes, as a public speaker, you also need to be a good listener, because as you're speaking, you need to be able to look and listen and see that your audience is understanding your message, so that in case you see something or hear something that your audience is not internalizing or getting, you can repeat it or restate it in a way that they can understand it. So without giving us a definition, our first habit is?
Projection.
Projection. Our second habit is?
Eye contact.
Our third habit is?
Body control.
Our fourth habit is?
Clarity.
And our fifth habit is?
Listening.
All right, and these are the habits that we call a competent communicator. Someone who communicates well, does all of these things in their habits, and they don't have to think about it. And that's what we're trying to internalize in our speech and debate team. And everything we do is to reinforce and to build these habits. So now we have a couple of our students who are going to present some of the things that they have been learning. So our younger group has been learning about poetry. And when we learn poetry, it does teach us memorization, but it also reinforces important or vital language skills. And we'll learn how to use words to paint pictures and really get our audience engaged in what we're saying. So we have our first poetry person. All right, or maybe we can have our speech and debate team exit, and I'll call up our speakers one by one. So speech and debate team, we can have you exit. Everyone, thank you. Maybe you can go in the room. Maybe you can go over there. All right. So I'm going to try to have our speakers speak without the microphone, just because some of you are not taller than the podium. But our first speaker up, and let's give him a really big round of applause, is going to be Jacob. Jacob! Yeah, come on, Jacob. Come on up, Jacob. One more time for Jacob. Can we use our projection right now? It's really loud right in front of the podium. Come up to the podium. Come up in front of the podium. You'll be right here. And you got a poem. Tell us the name of your poem.
Order to my shoes.
Ooh, it's an what is it?
Order to my shoes.
Okay, to your shoes. All right. Look at our audience right here. Practice all of our 5 habits, and let's hear this poem.
Okay. My shoes rest all night under my bed. Hide they stretch and loosen their laces. Wide open they fall asleep and dream of walking. They will visit the places they went during the day. A wake up cheerful, relaxed, so soft.
All right. Good. wants to remember?
First Saturday in June. 59 days to go. I can't find my purple beach towel. I can't even get to my closet without walking across a sea of dirty socks. Mom pokes her head in my room and says, Sophie, time to clean your room. And I have to admit that she's right. And it's not that cleaning my room is the worst thing to do. It's just that there are so many better things to do, like painting my toenails strawberry pink, eating a huge stack of Uncle Joe's pancakes, and thinking of scary stories to tell around the campfire at Scary Story Night, and thinking about all the fun things we do at summer house time.
All right, everyone, welcome up Aisha. So here's look at your audience. Remember all the habits. Ready?
Famous by morning to night. Nervous swims to face, loud swims to silence. Which knew and heard the earth before anybody said so. The tears swimming to the blue fly. The deer came close to the rock and the swims to rock. The Buddha swims to the earth more famous than the earth's share, which is only famous to its glory.
All right, now our final poem is going to be from Isabella.
Some say I'm now almost extinct in this park, but the people who say this don't know that by smelling the leaf on my rose.
It's a good different feeling.
The older group has been working on an activity called SPAR. Who likes to argue? All right. SPAR is where we perfect those argumentation skills, and where it's not just like, right? We don't teach you, yeah, huh, nah, yeah, huh, nah. We teach you how to construct an argument logically and get your point across. SPAR is going to be the activity where you really, really build those skills. So we have two debaters. Who are going to be our first debaters?
The first debaters today will be Brianna and Firdaus.
The fun thing about SPAR is that you don't really know your topic until you begin the debate round. So Coach John here has 3 topics that he wants to give you, and whichever one you cheer the loudest for will be the topic that the students will be debating. So what's our first topic?
The first topic is summer is better than winter. The second is that pizza is better than tacos. And the third is TV is better than books.
Let's hear cheers if you want to hear the first topic, which is?
Summer is better than winter.
All right, let's hear cheers. Who wants to hear the second topic?
Which is pizza is better than tacos.
All right, who wants to hear the third topic?
Which is...
So right now what Coach John is doing, Coach John is going to go give them their topics, and he's going to assign sides. So in speech and debate, and especially when we have debate, we have two sides. We have the pro side, and the pro side supports the topic or says yes. Right? What's the topic we chose? Someone want to shout out to me? So the pro side says yes, TV is better than books. And that pro side has to give out arguments for why TV is better than books. The con side says no, right? TV is not better than books. Here's a little trick about the con side. The con side gets to argue two things if they want to. They can say books are better than TV, or guess what? They can say books and TVs are equal, right? Because it is what we call burden of proof. Everyone repeat after me, burden of proof.
Burden of proof.
The burden of proof is on the pro side. The pro side must prove their side right. So the pro side must prove what? Right? So that's the burden of proof lies on the pro side to say, hey, TV is better than books. Here, let me teach you all another term. You are all going to be determining the winners, but there's a term called tabula rasa. Say it with me. What is it?
Tabula rasa.
All right, all right. Tabula rasa means that you are a blank slate. What does that mean? So what's the word again?
Tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa, blank slate. As a judge, you cannot bring in any of your own opinions or values. You have to judge the round solely on the arguments or whatever statements are brought up in the round. So if you personally feel TVs are better than books, but the book person has better arguments, you got to vote for the book person. You can't bring any of your own feelings or facts into it because it wouldn't be fair, right? To have a judge who thinks you're already wrong, right? So you are all tabula rasa, and tabula rasa means?
Blank slate.
Blank slate. You have no opinions, right? You don't think books are better than TVs. You don't think TVs are better than books. You don't think anything. You are solely going to judge the round based on what you hear. So the fun thing about SPAR is they just now got their topic. They did not know what they were going to debate. Now they need to come up with arguments to support their side. Who can tell me, what are the two sides in a debate? Pro and con, right? I'm sorry, I didn't make that question clear. So the two sides in debate are what?
Pro and con.
What does the pro side do?
It says yes.
They support the topic. They say yes, whatever the topic is, that topic is true. What does the con side do?
They don't support it, or they say that they are both equal.
Right? They reject the topic. They say no, the topic is not true in any way, shape, or form. All right, are we ready for me to go get our debater?
Yes.
What if someone, what if they lose?
Who's on pro? All right, here come our debaters. All right, so we have Brianna. Come on up, Brianna.
And then we have on the negation, Firdaus.
So we have pro and we have con. First, let's hear from the pro side.
TV is better than
Do you want? I'm sorry. Do you want to? Maybe we can get this one. Come over, come right here. I think she's right.
TV is better than books because some kids don't know how
how to read yet. So on the TV, they can watch educational videos. For example, my cousin doesn't know how to read. So on the TV, he watches educational videos. And he knows his ABCs, but he still can't read. So he continues to watch the educational videos. My impact is easier learning and faster.
Alright, so we heard why we like books. Or sorry, TV. Yeah.
So now is a minute of cross-examination for the con, which is Firdaus, to ask Brianna any questions she wants about her case. Firdaus, do you have any questions for her?
Do you want to go to the microphone?
You said that. You said that if you can watch educational videos, then you get better at learning. Well, like we watched that, and he's not learning that much watching it. So do you think that everybody can learn that? Not everybody does learn the same. Some kids need their parents to teach them, but other kids just need the educational videos. Would you say that most kids watch TV to learn? Sandoz, you learn how to write and you learn how to read, and she already learned how to read.
Cross-examination, it is time for the con side to present their case.
I think books are better than TV because TV, when you watch it too long, it hurts your eyes. And my evidence is that my cousin looked at the TV too long and she got glasses. My impact is when you get glasses, you have to pay more money for it. Then when you get older, you need baby glasses, and that'll cost more money.
Now we have the pro side who's going to cross-examination the con side.
I was reading something and you said that your cousin needed glasses, but maybe your parents can time how long they are on the TV.
Guys.
It's just that they should get a timer at one of them.
All right, now give it up one more time.
So the last part of a spar round is, after the cross-examination and both sides have presented their case, now they plead their case to the judge and they say, look, here's all the evidence that has been laid out. Here's my evidence, here's their evidence, and here's why you should prefer my evidence and I should win the debate round. This is called the rebuttal. What is this called?
Rebuttal.
All right, so now let's first hear the rebuttal from the pro side.
I'm right and she's wrong because sometimes do watch a lot of TV, but my mom times me, so then when she stops the timer, she makes me
watching like shows and that stuff and just watch educational videos and time him, and then he could not watch TV so much.
Now let's do the rebuttal from the con side.
They help you better in your grades. I was reading a book and it said that they watch TV for like only 30 minutes, but after that they kept on getting lazy, and that also affected their grades.
All right, fellas, you hear me? Talk quiet, you hear me? One important thing to remember about spar or any debate is it teaches us argumentation skills. You are assigned a side and you must defend that side. So this doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with that side, but what's important is learning spar debate teaches us how to understand other points of view, and sometimes you may get a topic that you don't agree with and be on the side that you feel the opposite of, and it's really important to build those critical thinking skills to be able to say, hey, I don't agree with this, but I can understand that side or that point of view and argue against it. So both of our debaters maybe do not feel maybe they did not feel the exact way that they had to support, but because they were assigned that side, they both gave really intelligent, really great arguments supporting their side. So let's give it a round of applause for both of them. Coach John has the next topic for you all.
All right, and one thing is important to keep in mind that they came up with that all on their own. I even asked them if they need help, and they're like, no, we got this. So our next topic is cell phones do more good than harm. And this will be from our two 5th graders, which are Mia and Natalie.
Who's pro? Natalie's pro, and we've got Mia on the con. All right, let's hear from our pro side first.
Cell phones do more good than harm. Cell phones can help you in emergencies. If you really think about it, when you get in a car crash, what do you think to do? Of course, call 911. But what if cell phones didn't exist? What would you do? My impact would be, if you didn't have a cell phone there, you would possibly die. If there was a serious injury, if you could have gotten seriously injured, you could have died. You could have lost much blood, and you would have eventually lose all your blood and die. Also, when you feel unsafe when you're walking the street, especially if you're a woman, in New York City, there has been a bunch of calls that say women have claimed that they've been groped. That means that they've been sexually touched. But there's an app that tells you that all you need to do is click a button, and it'll send out a text to all your contacts saying that you feel unsafe and you feel that somebody's following you. What if the phone was dead because you were using it too much? There are portable chargers that you can charge in your car. The law is you can't drive to know that, so they wouldn't do it.
Well, but some people still do it. Like some teenagers actually have been getting into car crashes because of that.
And most likely, if teenagers use a lot of their phones a lot in their cars, what do you think is going to happen with the chargers?
But still, what would happen if they did not have one and then they got into the car crash and they
The person that hit them probably is most likely has a phone.
And time. Now, 2 minutes each from our con side. Mia.
I think what does more harm than good because people can get addicted to social media and games. An example is my brother has social media such as Snapchat and more, and I have to call my brother like at least 10 times, and then I'm like, damn it, and then he's like, what? No, he's like, I'm like, damn it, he's like, I'm like, I'm trying to get his attention, but he's been so addicted to the social media that he won't even look up. And in impact, he can't have face-to-face communication that much anymore because he's too much on his phone. And another reason that cell phones do more harm than good is because you could get fired from your job. Because if you're on so you have your phone and it's either if you're using it too much or if you have social media. Some people have been fired for what they post on social media, and your manager can even see that. And if you have no job after getting fired, you don't have no money. And the last reasoning is that you can get into a car crash. Like I've seen people on the news getting in this car crash because they've been using their phones. You could, and like impact, you can get killed, or you could either go to the hospital, which is not good at all.
Are you addicted to games? Why are you addicted to games? Do you use social media?
Well, actually, no. But my brothers do a lot, and they get a lot, and that's why I know that
Why do your brothers use social media?
because they want it to extend. But most likely, if you do that too much, you get more into your phone, and the less you go outside into the real world.
And time.
As Mia said, some people are addicted and some people can get fired from work just because they post something. But if you did have cell phones, how can bosses interact with their workers? For example, there's group chats when there's an announcement. Let's say the boss went out of town for something important. How would the coworkers know? She says that she's addicted to games. She says because they're fun. Sometimes, if you have some issues at home, games can be a great distraction, taking your mind off the things that may have happened or are happening in your home. Also, you can, as she said, her brothers use it to interact with friends. Family uses it to interact with their kids. Let's say the mom isn't going to be home and she went to work and she got into a car crash. Her children didn't have phones, or she didn't have a phone. How would she tell them that she would be okay? They would be worried. They would think that, oh, my mom's missing, something happened to her. But it's truly something that she's going to be okay. But because they don't have cell phones, they won't know.
Mia.
If you do have a phone, it's also another bad way. Yes, you would probably need it for calling 911 or other emergencies. But like, if you wanna interact with another person or actually tell them something, you can also send letters. Like, just get their address from your home, send them the letters. It might take a little while, yes. Like, there's no texting and everything. But like, if it's not that important, you could just send it to them. And they'll letter, and they'll get it in their mouth. Also, for back to the cars, what's it called? Such as just using your phone. That's
battery also in their phone.
All right.
So everyone, we do have a guest speaker, but before Coach John leaves, I want you all to know Coach John is a college competitor for Rio Hondo, yes, Rio Hondo Community College, and he is a part of their state team, meaning that he is going to go compete for the school for their state championship team, and you're also going to do nationals this year, and he's also made their national championship team, which
Nationals is in Daytona, Florida.
Yes. So one of the cool things about speech and debate is it takes you all over the country, it takes you all over the place. Did you go to Nationals last year?
Yeah.
He went to Nationals last year. What was Nationals last year?
Nationals last year is in Washington, D.C.
All right. So speech and debate is one of those great things that will take you all over the place. Coach John's here every Wednesday. So when you see him, make sure you say hi to Coach John every Wednesday. We do have a special guest speaker from the Cal State Fullerton Speech and Debate Team. It is a nationally recognized speech and debate team, always one of the top teams in the country. And one of the things I love to hear about Cal State Fullerton and our speech and debate team is, you know, we go up and we compete against all of the schools that you are told are the best schools, like Harvard, all those schools, and we do well. We beat a lot of those schools. And right now we have a representative from that school to tell you about it. He'll also tell you about some of the places speech and debate was able to take him. So everyone, let's welcome up Isaiah Salgado. We're speech and debate. We don't need that.
Yeah, for sure. Hello. So like Willie said, I am on the National Policy Speech and Debate team at Cal State Fullerton, which is really cool because what had drawn me into college policy debate as opposed to the other forms of debate was actually just kind of the travel aspect of it. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I didn't grow up with those same opportunities as a lot of my peers might have. So I never got to be on a plane until I was in college. Like I never left the state aside from Las Vegas at any point in my life. So I was just excited when they would tell us things like, we get to go to tournaments in New York, and we get to go to Texas, and we get to go all over the country, and that really interested me. So I started developing my skills in speech and debate. One thing I don't think Willie mentioned is my major is philosophy, right? Which is stereotypically people who just kind of sit down at their desk and like write a bunch of ideas and intricate, introverted things. And I was kind of always like that, but I also liked things like hip hop or professional wrestling, right? Which were very outward expressions of your personality. One thing I really like to do with my students is to show them wrestling promos, and as an activity, have them run wrestling promos at each other. Because I think we can all relate to the excitement of a wrestler going, this night at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to let you know how devastatingly I'm going to beat you. I'm going to have all the power of all my Hulkamaniacs and blah, 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 blah. Right? You're able to figure out how rhythm works. You're able to figure out how patterns work, how syntax works, how you are able to figure those things out. And I think a really awesome thing that speech and debate does has allowed me to see how community works. Has allowed me to see how a lot of the programs that we have do come out of sacrifice, do come out of volunteer work, do come out of those types of things. A lot of my professors, for example, my professor and debate coach, Toya Green, she was the first black woman to ever make it to nationals. And this was only less than 10 years ago. And she worked and worked and worked, and she tells me about all the opportunities she gave up so that she could do programs like Cal State Fullerton to help us out. She'll tell me how she gets offered these to be the heads of departments at Kansas City, which is where she went to school. And she tells me, I want to stay here right now because I'm noticing how California is growing in their debate programs and how they're allowing those programs to continue. I, for example, will work with Willie, and if the payment is available, sure, we'll get paid because we are doing work and we are people who need that, but also we also volunteer. We also spend extra time with the kids. I'll also give my email to those kids' parents and allow them to help me help their kid develop their case. I also know what it's like to not have those opportunities and not have those resources, and we take advantage of because of those things. Because I was just reading what people were saying, or hearing what they were saying, but not hearing what they were meaning. Because a lot of people will speak in a way that is meant to trick you and meant to try to not let you know what you're worth as children, as just people who come from working places. I think that's a great thing that Speech and Debate does. It allows us to respect people, but it doesn't force us to over-respect people who don't deserve that over-respect or maybe are trying to take advantage of you. I think it's a really good skill for accountability. So, in short, I think Speech and Debate is just really useful in helping you develop your skills, helping you network, helping you have accountability for yourself and others, and that's why I think this program is really good.
Alright, I want to thank everybody for coming up and giving up your time. The reason we're having this assembly, just to let you all know, today Congress has recognized today as National Speech and Debate Education Day. So today is the day to celebrate speech and debate and really just get more and more students involved. So I want to thank you again for spending the afternoon with me after your day of reading out in the hall and on the grass. So everybody take care. When you see us on campus, make sure you say hi to us.
Kid. We're still recording. Daddy, we're still recording, Aaron. What are you doing? Showing the face. And I showed my